Train by day, Kyle Wigginton podcast by night, all day.
Well, so I know you have an outline that you'd like to go through here, but my brain is like all over the place. So what I really would like for you to do, first of all, Matthew the Fifth.
That's right.
Okay. Can you explain the name?
Explain the name Matthew the Fifth. This is
because the first time you told me this, and I think it was when I was editing a comedy sketch or comedy. You were doing stand-up comedy one night, and I filmed it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And they were like, "Oh, it's Matthew the Fifth." And I'm like, "What?" Like, it's a great name.
It's I've always wanted to have a name that kind of stuck. You know what I mean? Some people just have that name. I guess Eminem's like the first thing that just pops into my head. Like, oh, we know exactly who Eminem is. This is the name. And I've always wanted to have a name, whether it be like Claude or something else like that in my lifetime, but I never had that. And, growing up in elementary school, you don't really care what people call you. And so, my full name is Matthew Valet, but, I would always be stuck with Matt Valley. Matt, for me, is something you stomp your feet on. So I never liked Matt. So I always preferred Matthew. And valet is such a hard thing for people to pronounce. I'm like valet, like somebody who parks your car. So I kind of gave up on getting people to try to pronounce it right.
Mm-hmm.
And during Hurricane Ida, I flew up to Alaska, and there's this host. He was doing open mic. And of course, everyone's just kind of doing this bluegrass country kind of thing. And I get up there. They see that I don't have a guitar. I got to backtrack a little. So he looks at my name. I sign my name, Matthew V. And then he calls me up to stage as Matthew the Fifth because he reads the V as a numeral number, which is great because you have certain comedians out there that just put out their last initial, like Johnny D. Okay, whatever. That's Johnny D. But when you have something that gets translated to a numeral, and I told the guy in Anchorage that I'm gonna keep that name. And he's like, yeah, sure. I don't think he realizes that I've signed on posters, on being called up to stage. I've kept with that name, that moniker, for years now. That was like, when was that Hurricane Ida? Was that 2000?
It was like 5 years ago or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a good minute ago.
Dude, I love that. That's a great story.
Yeah.
I've always wondered that. That's beautiful.
There's different nicknames, you have throughout your lifetime. They just don't stick. And you're like, okay, whatever. And I guess that was the one that I'm just like, I'm going to stick with that. There'll be other publishing names or something like that I'll have or names for my brand. Cause I'm also trying to work on music, on screenplays. And
you do all kind of stuff, man.
It's just,
that's what I've noticed from you. Like you were talking about art history, but it's like, I've seen you do comedy. You're doing the caricature work that you like to do. You're talking about screenwriting. You see you did some acting. You're kind of like me, dude. You just do it all.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I'm trying to bring it all together into like a coherent package. I talked to you before I got here is like the reason I'm not so much drawn to acting and more drawn to animation is I like that idea of creating your universe and having complete control over it. Like Seth MacFarlane, he made Family Guy. But with a lot of things in technology between rigging and controversial, AI is an example of things that can get you going. Yeah, AI is seen as this controversy thing in art and everything else. There's going to be a moment you're not even going to notice it. If I have animated work and I'm trying to put something out and I need a background and I've already developed, fleshed out original characters, everything else, AI is going to give me some ideas. Costume design is a whole different art form. Well, then that's going to, and I think somebody was pointing out to me is it's one thing, when a non-creative person is just putting something out there and throwing it out there. But when like a creative person is understanding it, it's kind of like understanding the tools of the trade. A lot like you'll notice the difference between like certain electronical artists and say Trent Reznor. Trent Reznor understands. Trent Reznor clearly understands composition. He understands music scores. He understands everything else. So when you have that mind frame that goes into it, there's a lot you can do. But then if you're just using it as a shortcut, and you're not doing anything, you're not fleshing it out. And, and there's also this other thing is like, if you can produce this work, you can do these things. There's going to be a point when with the technology and everything else we have available is you're going to have this $1 billion film company and you're going to have some 16-year-old kid on a laptop and they're going to be competing for people's attention. Mm-hmm. And I almost see this, and maybe this is crazy foresight in the future or whatever is that we'll have these big Hollywood movies, but then we'll have these localized movies about things that people personally relate to and everything else. So,
No, I believe that. Yeah,
So-
I love AI.
yeah.
I'm huge into AI. Use it for all kind of stuff. I've been flamed because of my use of AI. I used to have this page that was it's called No Man's Sky Trophy Hunter. No Man's Sky is a video game that released, so it's like procedurally generated planets, and you can go down to any planet in the universe, and there's unique animals on the planet.
Yeah.
So I would go down and kill these animals, and then take pictures with them. No Man's Sky Trophy Hunter. So people loved it at first because it was a pure page, right?
Yeah.
Like it was just pure No Man's Sky. But then one day I was like, what if I upload one of these images into AI and make it realistic?
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal what the AI was doing. But then I uploaded one of those images and immediately just got fucking just raped.
Yeah. I was reading an article just recently how AI artist was removed from Comic-Con. I guess I kind of see it that if you're just typing something up and you're printing it out, but like I'm going back to an example of animation. Well, if I'm writing, like I'm working on a werewolf series right now. Well, if I wrote the book and I made the art and I need to make a video and I don't have, $100,000 to make a video and I'm still selling, am I immoral? Well, I wrote the work. I'm writing very specific command prompts of what the background is, what the character looks like, what's going on in the scene. So I guess it gets kind of to a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
In
that
respect.
example specifically, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a weird thing, man. I do feel like that in that example, you'd be justified.
Yeah.
Because you created the original work.
Yeah.
It's all about the original work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that AI is just going to help the creative people get more creative.
Yeah.
There is a paper that's written right now that's actually speaking about this problem that we're going to have.
Yeah.
It says there's going to be a massive divide.
Yeah.
Because what it's saying is that you have people that are inquisitive that are actually getting smarter by using AI.
Yeah.
But you have people that are just using it to do their work every day.
Yeah.
That are not using their brains. So their brains are literally
I
shrinking.
remember reading about high schoolers and stuff.
Yeah, their brains are shrinking because they're not flexing the muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, even for me, I was looking at this AI recently called Meshy. I typed in kind of what I wanted the character to look like. And I'm like, oh my God, that's absolutely brilliant. Holy cow. I would have never thought about drawing this because, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. I don't have $100 million to produce a film. I can't audition a bunch of people, but you type in a couple prompts and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is what this character could look like. Like I had there's one story I'm working on with this general. And when I saw what the AI came up with, based on the description, like I was like floored. I'm like, okay, I can use a lot of elements to this. I'm gonna take this Meshy app. I'm gonna put it into different positions. I'm gonna be able to trace it. I'm gonna be able to make my own original work. I'm gonna be able to put it into what's called rigging. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, 3D animation.
Animation rigging is kind of like when you take an animated character and you move them around like a marionette. Mm. So you have all these points of the character, like this is where the shoulder is.
Giving the bones to the character.
So you can kind of move with that. And you can also have it scan you. So you can actually move an animation in real time. All these things are very exciting. And it's great that people are, go out there and do their thing. If your specialty is doing a trumpet or simply doing guitar, you're going to have limitations. But on the other hand, people are always going to want to see live music and want to engage and want to be there and see the live thing that's happening. I noticed that you earlier had Suno on your phone. That kind of. So my thing. This is the interesting thing about Suno. If you're doing the beatboxing, if you write the original lyrics, what makes you any different from Ozzy Osbourne, from the funk musician with it, James Brown, Michael Jackson? What makes you different from those people? If that's what you're doing, if you're coming up with it, if you don't have a band, but you really want to make music,
I've never wrote lyrics on Suno. I basically type in a prompt and it pulls music up.
Yeah.
The reason I do it, the reason I still have it on my phone is because I want to see how it evolves. It's like an experiment for me. So I downloaded Suno when I first heard about it. It was version like 1.1, whatever.
Yeah.
And I have one prompt that I typed in. It was about my parents' dog or whatever.
Yeah.
And it made a pretty cool song.
Yeah.
But then every time they come out with a new version, I entered the same exact prompt into Suno, and not the same song, a better song pops up.
Yeah.
It's showing the evolution of the app. I've used it once or twice for a couple of musicians that I know. And I basically typed in, I want to make a song about this. And it made the entire fucking song in like 3 seconds. And then I sent it to the musician and I was like, bro, you should just take this, remove the lyrics and then recreate it.
Huh. I guess for me, for years, I have cassette tapes.
That's not even that old to me. Okay. If you just said 8 tracks,
just listen, hear me out.
If you just said 8
I
tracks,
have cassette tapes of me beatboxing, trying to come up with music for a year. That's how far back it goes. Like I have recordings all over everything, but it goes all the way back to me being a kid with a cassette tape, trying so hard to flesh out the music. But when I get on the keyboard, when I get on the guitar, I can't quite get there. I'll have moments, I'll have little nuanced moments, but when I go back to like hearing James Brown or Michael Jackson's creative process, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm thinking about it. I know all the lyrics. I'm writing all the lyrics. I'm thinking about all the beats and everything about that song. I hear it. If I had a musician available, they would do it. But every time I collaborate with a musician or something, it's one of two things happen. They're not motivated or they just run off with my original material. Like that I never found anybody that was willing to collaborate with me and really work with me. So
the AI is not going to do that. It won't run off you. It'll collaborate with you.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It won't complain. You won't have to hear about their ex-girlfriend.
Oh, my AI complains.
Yeah.
It's the chat GPT specifically. I talk to it all the time. I wouldn't actually do a podcast with GPT. I just haven't set it up yet.
Oh yeah. You could do an algorithm of all your interviews in AI and have an interview with yourself. That would be cool. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
And especially if you did this graphic thing or, where you do this, recording thing where it makes it look like you're sitting in both booths and you do an algorithm based on everything that you've said in all your podcasts. Cause that is possible.
That's possible.
To run a script and the thing about it is it's kind of holding up a mirror to yourself because you're like, oh, okay. So this is what I sound like. This is because a lot of time we go the majority of our life looking outward, having no idea the impression we make on people inward. You know what I mean? We don't know. We have no idea. That's one of the things, with caricature is 99.9% of the time, people know what they're in for.
Yeah. It's going to be something crazy, right?
Yeah. I get there. I get the moment. You get that 1%, and I like to call them Nancy's.
Okay.
It's not a Karen, a Nancy. And I'm naming this after because working for Caricature, you try to separate yourself.
Hey, can you explain what character is first?
Caricature.
Okay.
Caricature is like an illustration of a person, exaggerated features. It kind of splinters off where you got your editorial cartoon and then you got the just purely focused on features, very reminiscent of the Cubist style. I kind of wanted to talk about that for a sec. So I kind of want to reference because I looked at a lot of research and I feel like we got to give a little credit here because you look through the history of art and then because you had to work for royalty, you had to do this thing, you had to work for whatever they told you could paint. And you try to make a copy of a copy. It eventually looked kind of sloppy. And then you had this freedom of doing art. And I think one of the earliest people was like looking at African art, very stylized, very big features. It was kind of what we would think about with these modern day cartoon or caricature. And I think there's certain things about whenever they talk about art history, it's always centralized around, well, how does it relate to European history? I'm like, well, how does it relate to African history? Because Pablo Picasso, you can clearly see that you have this sort of these wild kind of styles. And eventually, they become sort of editorial. This is like an editorial sketch, big heads, little bodies, because you had only a certain amount of page room. So you had to kind of accentuate their features. You had a message, you had something to say. This is kind of where I tend to lean because I feel like if you totally put yourself into it, you get a moment. You know what I mean? And the thing about like I had this Nancy, because you try to work for Six Flags, you work for these corporations. You have different people to answer to, and you would think that like an amusement park, aquarium, whatever, you would think they'd be nice to you because you're technically making them money. They're not nice to you at all. Like you have to follow all these rules. If you have one complaint, you could work for the company for years. And I've heard of this across the board. Years. You screw up on one caricature, you get a Nancy. A Nancy is somebody who, let's break this down. A Nancy is somebody who believes that they're a social justice warrior, that they're doing the right thing. They're complaining that they're hurt. Their feelings are hurt. They're I don't know for lack of a better word, woke. And they feel like they need to report you and they need to tell the manager all about it because they feel like what they're going through, everyone else is going through when nobody else is going through. Like everybody gets the joke. One of the things I was working at one of these amusement park kind of things, and this woman was like, laugh out loud. I have a basic formula when I do caricature. I sit with somebody, I tell a joke, they laugh about it, like laugh about it. Like when they're like, like if they're just like in it, I draw the joke, I show the joke, they laugh out loud. You think that's it. And 99.9% of it's but every once in a while you get that Nancy, they'll walk away like, I'm a little hurt by what happened. Because the thing is like with her, this particular woman is certain people caricaturize better than other people. That's just how it is. Like some people have very distinguishing features. Like the guy that she was with, very distinguishing features. Like he just had these eyes and everything else that they're just very intense. And he had this facial hair and this teeth. But with her, it's very simplified. And it's just, you kind of embrace your things. You face your facial features. To quote Bicentennial Man, is like to make a human face, you have to embrace the imperfections. Bicentennial Man. You have to look up that movie. It's very interesting.
That's a great movie. I've seen it.
And so that's kind of what it is. And with her, all it was is like a line for her eyes. Her teeth are kind of pointed out, and she's got these cheeks up to here. It was a very simplified thing, but for her, it was like, why don't I look as good as my boyfriend? Another thing was like, because I was joking around about her, like, oh, he looks kind of like a cop. But when I draw him as a cop, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe you do that. You know what I mean? Because she's telling me all these like raunchy stories. I'm like, okay, I'll draw him as a cop, saying you better be on your best behavior. And they laugh out loud. They have a big reaction, but they're like, oh man, I'm feeling a little disheartened about that right now.
So I think that about a lot of people that do character art, because for those of you who didn't get the description, character art's like when you go sit down at a street artist, this is what I think about it. Street artist, and they draw you with like all your features enhanced. So they're like really funky pictures. There's a guy that I was looking at on Instagram one day, and what he does the street art, but he shows a picture of the character drawing first, and then the people in the background, and then he turns around and sees their reactions. And I think about a lot of the fucking people that he does art for. I'm like, there's no way they're not gonna get mad at this picture. Yeah. Most of the people take it lighthearted. They're like, this is fun. They know what they're sitting down for. Yeah. But I can only imagine with the way that society is today, that there are those people out there that get pissed off about this stuff.
It's so rare. Yeah. It's so rare. Like I've done it on a continuum for 10 years. 10 years. And I've had about 3 people, including that Nancy, that I was just telling you about.
That's a pretty good, 3 people is not bad.
If you're considering that I'm doing probably about 50 caricatures a week.
Yeah.
For like 10 years at least, that's a huge number for like such a small, and that's just a modest estimate. I have no idea. I can't even imagine how many caricatures I've drawn. I'm just throwing a number out there. And I still remember each and individual one of them. That's how rare it happens that somebody's upset.
But those 3 people ruined it.
Like, the other times we're a street performer. Being a street performer and working at an amusement park are 2 separate things. Let me explain to you what's going on.
Okay.
Any kind of street performer, it's a different thing. When you're a caricature artist as a street performer, you're trying to get a big reaction because you're trying to draw people in.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if you're being as offensive as possible to that person. You can go hard as you want.
You want that.
Because if you get a big reaction, you get people crowded around, that's when it is. There's times where you're just trying to be playful. There's very rare instances where you see an opportunity like, I'm going to go hard on this person. Mm-hmm. They don't deserve it. They're going to be very upset. But if I do this right, I'm going to make a lot of money tonight because everyone else is going to have a big reaction to it. This is a true story. This guy was getting his caricature done, and his friend was just talking shit about him. Just telling everything about him, everything else. And he's all like nervous as hell. And the woman is sitting there just laughing, having a good time. And I wrote exactly what his friend said in the dialogue box right above. It said, this man can fit not one, but 2 fingers in his ass.
Oh my
He's
God.
been to prison. And so I wrote that dialogue. I have him in a prison jumpsuit. She's holding up a cake about their 10-year anniversary, holding up because they wanted me to write 10-year anniversary. And I hand the caricature off. I can tell this guy is upset, but he's with this woman. So he's, thanks. It's like, oh, you got to tip him. This is hilarious. Da, 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 da. All his friends are. So when you're a street artist, have the big reaction. But when you work at a corporate thing like an amusement park, it's hard because when you're putting out a caricature or face paint, every 4 minutes, you're just whipping it out. Those 2 parts of your brain are hard to like balance out all the time because sometimes you get so loose and comfortable, like, oh man, I found myself there on Bourbon Street. Next thing you know, they kicked me right out the door. Apparently, there's certain things you can't say at Six Flags. You know?
Yeah, I mean, HR, right?
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. But at the same time, I don't think it's good for the artist.
Yeah.
Like art, in my opinion, art works better in chaos.
Yeah, even, that's happened to other people I know. This is Casa Bonita that was famous on South Park when they opened that restaurant. Again, bringing on the caricature artists. Oh, well, you didn't finish the caricature in 5 minutes. You're fired. It's such a tight rope. There's no other occupation like that where it's just like, oh, you're a cook. You didn't put out X amount of food in such amount of time. Boom, you're gone. No other job I can think of is like that.
That seems exhausting.
Like you're so far like this. It's so high tense, any kind of corporate environment that any flaw, anything people see, boom, you're out the door. You're and it's not just caricature. It was when I was doing face painting. I had to have another guy rescue me on this one. Because I don't know if you ever saw any of my face painting work. A lot of it's a lot more cubistic, where I'm just focusing on design. I'm like square off color shade
Based on their face.
No, like if I'm doing a face painting, like I just kind of, there's a lot of I don't pull it up. Cats have stat.
You do face painting at the Six Flags as well?
Yeah. Let's see. This is an example of my face painting.
Okay.
Like very simple shapes.
Yeah.
That's what I focus on. I like the idea of doing shapes instead of doing something that looks janky.
Okay.
And this woman, I did an octopus or something, and it didn't look like the poster, which just looked all janky to me. I'm like, I don't know. You got 20 people standing in line. This woman's like, no, hell no. I'm like, dude,
it's like, what do you fucking want me to do?
It's just face paint.
Yeah, go wash your fucking face off. We'll do it again.
And this one wanted it. I drew it 2 times, and finally I had to have Johnny take because I'm like, I don't know, because I'm used to this style because it's quick.
Like, what do you do with those people though? You can't please them.
Are you supposed to? 99.9% of people are happy, and you're supposed to bend over for that 1%. That's what corporates will expect out of you too.
But the issue is we're not telling those people to fuck off. That's the issue. Like people have been coddled so much here lately that they just need to be slapped in the mouth. Be like, shut up. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you ruining this for everyone? There's 20 other people in line. Take your octopus and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I can talk about, there are controversies. We'll talk about that for a minute. Controversies of caricature. Here's an example. World War II. We have this, we have this vision of Japan. We're going to war against Japan. And so there's a lot of crude things. I think a lot of culturally, when anything's other, they're going to caricaturize certain things a certain way. Like that's a lot what happened with the Japanese. And then in turn, they had Theodore Roosevelt, where they did a lot of crude things about that caricature, just to kind of make a statement. This is Albert Crumb and what was known as blackface.
That's the classic, dude.
Yeah,
the classic blackface.
Yeah, that was the classic blackface at the time. Jay-Z actually made a music video called something like OJ or something, where he kind of made a whole music video on this and stuff. And this is kind of like how certain people were presented. So there is, all I'm saying, there is intent I think that's really where we should focus. Intent. Am I trying to make you laugh? Am I telling you a joke? Did we both laugh? It's one thing when it's like, like where do you draw the line though?
It's a fun thing. Like, I don't understand why people get upset about fun shit like that.
Yeah.
I get it. There's a propaganda you can do, but there's propaganda everywhere,
This was crazy. This is something I found in my research. There is a television show where they had these puppets. These were puppets. These were puppets they walked around with in Britain called Spitting Image.
Those are great.
Like, it's worth looking up.
I'm gonna try to overlay some of these images on here so that the people can see them. I might forget.
Spitting Image.
Yeah, that's great.
Whoa. Like, that's something that happened in the 80s, because we get this whole
what Mad TV was the first Mad magazine was the first magazine I ever saw with a character on it.
Yeah.
And that was that's what they did. Like, that's what introduced me to caricature art.
Mort Ducker, I would really like to come back to this, doing posters for comedy shows or any kind of show where you're doing a caricature, because that's been gone since the 80s. I'm like, dude, that'd be so, because a lot of times what they do is like, it's called face salad, where they're just doing this head cutout and stuff like that. That'd be something to come back to, is come back to that 80s. And Mort Ducker was the caricature guy. The thing I didn't like about that was in the early 2000s, when I first tried to get into like the amusement parks and all that kind of stuff, you had to do the Mort Ducker style. You weren't allowed to do any other style but Mort Ducker. And as the years went on, there's a lot more freedom with it. You just had to be, when you were at an amusement park, you had to work that line. You couldn't say anything. You couldn't accidentally say anything. Even the staff, this is a true story. Even the staff were over the top sensitive. I was working at this corporate company. A face painter quit, because the thing, when you work for a corporate company, they take about 70% of your income. So 70% of everything you sell goes back to that company.
Interesting.
So a lot of people want to quit.
Yeah.
Somebody quit, wanted to bring up the spirit, got season passes. I was going to walk downstairs to this office, and you got the front door, you got all this. I'm like, listen, Chris from HR said that there's going to be some season passes for us. Do you have those season passes? Like, oh, Chris from HR. Oh, Chris is right over there. And so I'm like, because, I'm trying to ask this lady. I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm like, I'm trying to bring up the team spirit. I go up, and it's Chris, the door guy. And, whenever you have a Walmart greeter or anything else, that's their capacity. That's all they can do. And so this guy named Chris is confused, because I have a lot of friends in circles. I'm like, he's clearly some kind of autism spectrum or something. And so I'm telling Chris, just stay right here. Chris, it's totally fine. I don't want you to panic. I want you to stay right here, Chris. I just need you to stay right here. And so I go back to the desk. I'm like, look, I'm not looking for Chris, the janitor or the dishwasher. If you don't have the season passes, it's no big deal. I can make a few phone calls. You would have thought an atomic bomb blew up behind me. They were so livid and they were so mad. No, get this. They were so mad that the CEO of the face painting company had to fly from one side of the country to the other side of the country to sit down and talk to this corporate office. He had to get in an airplane. He had to kiss his kids goodbye, take a chance on an airplane, and fly to the other side of the country just to calm them down, because what I said was completely out of line.
Hang on. Let me try to get this straight. So someone quit the job you were working at, and you were trying to bring up the team spirits, and you were going to get season passes for everyone.
Yeah.
And then you went to get the season passes, and they referred you to someone who didn't have the season passes.
Yeah. Just because his name happened to be Chris.
And then that person got upset.
Yeah. They just thought the way I handled it was totally out of hand. Because like I was being sarcastic. I'm like, I'm not looking for Chris the dishwasher or Chris the janitor.
Right. They didn't understand your sarcasm. I can see that.
So they thought that I was being so mean, like like I said, the face painting corporate CEO had to fly from one side of the country to the other side of the country. He's like, listen, I get complaints. There's this real complaint about another caricature. This is a real complaint. This documented. Somebody called and complained. This is a different artist. Somebody called and complained because a giraffe was wearing a cowboy hat and a vest.
What was wrong with that?
Well, it humanized the giraffes, and animals need to be animals, and humans need to be humans. And to
Humans
cross
are
that,
animals.
they clearly crossed the line because this guy was screaming on the phone, livid. These are the type of complaints. Like, what is art anymore? You know?
I don't know. You are kind of hard to understand though. I can see where those comments could be misconstrued, you know? Like even when I asked you for an outline last night, what you gave me, I was like, I don't know if I can know where this is going.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it. I love creative people. I just think that sometimes when you get people that are extremely creative, they sort of have hard time communicating.
I don't know what there's a certain schism of my brain. Even if you read any of my work and stuff, it kind of, you have to you have to make sense of it. I'm trying to think of the author. God, he had that smoky, raspy voice. Very famous author. He wrote a book called Women. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but I remember my sister kind of describing me as this sort of like my mind kind of goes all over the place, but it makes sense once you
It makes sense in your head.
It makes sense to me, once I start explaining and everything else.
I feel that way about some of my ideas too that I have, but then I realize when I'm looking at the person that they're completely lost.
Yeah.
And what I've discerned from this is that everyone doesn't have all the same nodes in my brain that I have in my brain. So whenever I mention a word, they may not have a clue what that word even means, which throws them completely out of the concept that I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Yeah, I get things make sense to people and their perspective and their world and everything else.
You almost have to like simplify everything down to like the lowest level that you can.
Yeah.
In order to communicate your ideas across a broad spectrum.
Yeah, like for me, this is like what I'm showing you as is I'm thinking about is like a slideshow projection thing. I'm like, okay, clearly, okay, so I have to have a topic. Here's some things right here. I want to assure him that I'm prepared for the show. This is all stuff like off the top of my head, my life experiences, certain like these editorial cartoons right here. This guy was interesting. This guy takes objects.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And he makes, this is Jerry Garcia. And then there's his Sigmund Freud. It's like, this is an interesting thing. This is when caricatures were popular in magazines. These kids these days, they don't know what magazines are.
Mad Magazine was like the first. I read it religiously. I bought them at this place called Food Giant.
Well, this is
hometown.
More like the New Yorker. And
well, yeah, that's definitely not Mad Magazine, but I'm saying like that was my intro into I guess the first art that I've ever encountered in life. I was like 11 years old walking through the Food Giant and saw this awesome picture that said Mad on it.
Parody stuff. I still remember being the first person to introduce one of my friends to Weird Al. Like parody of things. Like that's all I'm saying is people like, I have no idea this exists in the world. This is so fascinating.
Weird Al is a unique one. I never understood it.
Yeah.
But I respect it.
Yeah. Because
he's clearly performing at the top of some art form. I just don't understand what it is.
Yeah. I love this. This is so there's not a lot of historical moments in caricature anymore. As I see it, I kind of see it the way Clint Eastwood described radio. It's like before television, we had radio, we had user imagination, everything else. When you had a caricature, it was in the paper. We thought about it, we ruminated it, but everything's moving so quickly these days. You see an image, you forget about it in 2 hours. We're not because we got so much dopamine hits in our social media and everything else. I actually quit social media for about 6 months until, I slipped back into it. There's a few historical moments of caricature. I like this. This is infamous for a while. Kurt Westgard is a caricature of Mohammed. I want to say this is 2007.
We might get canceled for posting that one.
Yeah, we can't even post this one. We might have to bleep this whole part of the conversation out.
Yeah, wasn't it South Park that like?
Yeah, that was South Park, and
I'll have to blur that image.
This guy. I think it's so fascinating because I remember I was sitting down. I was with my grandma at the time because I was going through this breakup and I had to like find that in between living space because I was living with a girlfriend, so I had to go to I remember watching this Danish cartoonist and people were rioting and they're angry. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have thought of that. And Grandma's like, you would want people that upset you? I'm like, Grandma, you don't understand. If I do something becomes famous, it's because I said that one horrible thing that everyone reacted to. I'm not going to be a Mother Teresa. And she's like, she was just mortified. There's a caricature. This is going on to more of the modern era after
she
the
looks
2000s.
familiar. I think I know her.
Yeah, maybe she was topless in this bar. I had to censor.
Tits?
Yeah, I had to blur out the tits.
Oh my goodness! Dude, why would you do that?
I know.
We're tit friendly around here.
There you go.
Nice. There you go.
Release the tatas.
Is it a
This is
hummingbird?
a episode. Yeah, this caricature artist was on this television show called Nathan For You, and he did a whole spoof. He's like, oh, this caricature artist was really struggling. So that was an episode where he just tells him to go totally over the top, offensive, vulgar, everything else. And you see certain stuff like that. I feel it personally, I feel like majority of the time, I want to say 95% of the time, I'm keeping it very PG. I might have a suggestive line like, oh no, I've been on my bad behavior. But it's one of those things that you could see it on primetime television. I always have that thing is like, I'm not trying to reach for vulgarity. I'm trying to find a good joke that I can give to somebody at the end of the day. This is, I don't know, this is one of the caricatures.
What are you talking about while you're drawing, or what do you mean?
Oh, when I'm doing a caricature, I'm not trying to like, somebody.
Well, it's like, it's funny to me. I guess to me, it's not funny, but it's like, it's unique to me that you're trying to see their personality while you're drawing them rather than just looking at their features.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is.
Yeah, so
feeling hot. I'm your AC man. This guy was an AC person, and he had his shirt unbuttoned, clearly trying to show off his muscles and everything else. And so this is all you got to consider. This is all within a span of 5 minutes. I got to get an impression of somebody. I got to draw them. I got to get the coloring right. I got to get
it's
the
impressive,
style right.
Yeah, it's impressive that you can do
all
that in
these
5 minutes.
things is like there's certain times where I come up with a great concept, but I don't feel like the drawing's good enough, so I don't take the picture. Like this past weekend, there's this guy. He's like 90 years old. He's towering at like 6'5", and he's got this 4 foot tall wife who's like in her 30s. We know what's going on.
6'5", 90-year-old.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a tall old person.
And then he's got this 4 foot tall girl. So at the end, I'm giving a hard time about this.
Right. I respect
and then
that.
at the very end, it shows him
with a baby
looking over her. He's like, all right, hop in the satchel. We're going on a trip to New Orleans. Because, she's like itty bitty and he's just like towering over her and stuff like that. It's just one of those things you're reading the moment. I'm not trying to go hard. I'm just trying to like, can I make a good joke? That's always been my goal. You have this whole history of caricatures and things like that. And I guess one of my coworkers called it thematic. But I feel like there's always been caricature to some degree. I mean, a rhino, they don't look like this. A rhino would fall over if it had a horn this big. But from the early ages of like history, people were always like, man, and then there was this woman that came walking this way and she had this ass. You could tell she had an ass walking towards you. She didn't even have to turn the other way. She had this ass. And so people will always have something in their mind like, oh, I can imagine what that'd be. And
why do you think that is? Why do you think humans have done that rather than just like drawing what is?
I don't even think they're trying to. Maybe it's just their interpretation. Get people excited about it. Like I saw a huge ass. I saw this woman walk by. She had such a huge ass. I could tell she was walking. Like that sounds very exciting. Like, oh, really?
Even what you're showing right now with this rhino with this massive horn. Like, why would someone draw that?
I feel like if I survived this beast, if I saw this encounter, I survived this beast. Kind of it boosts my manhood.
You think he's bragging? He's bragging to his buddies.
This is what I can do. I can take this. I can take it out. Okay. Come on. I deserve every woman in the village. Cause let me tell you, I can take out this beast.
That makes sense.
I like this. This is something when we think about the classical era, we always think about the fine art. Things were very refined.
Dude, I hated that class in college. Yeah. We had like this Renaissance class. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to beat my two professors. They were the worst people ever. They were so fucking boring.
Yeah.
It's like, this is so stupid.
It's always European history.
It's
Anyways,
horrible.
I've talked about that before. It's always just European history.
Horrible.
I love this. Pompeii. These are images from Pompeii. What I really liked about it is this like, oh, classical era had a lot more to say. A lot of the other graffiti images were just dicks. People were just drawing dicks everywhere for no reason at all. It's just a very childish thing. And I think that just sheds a light on this Renaissance era. It's like people always had a sense of humor, of caricaturizing. They clearly did not like this guy. They clearly, you know what I mean? And he had a hawk he had a crow hand and a crow heart.
I mean, maybe he just had a huge nose.
Maybe. Just be honest. I just can't even watch.
So yes, put this down.
Okay, sorry. I was gonna look up some other thing.
No, it's this dopamine addiction you're talking about.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's like we see a screen and we have to like keep it in front of our faces. My niece and my nephew do this shit.
Yeah.
It blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Whenever I go see them, all they're doing is this right here the whole time. And they bitch and complain that I live in New Orleans.
I've done that with caricature too. People are like, dude, you're here for maybe 5 minutes. You're going to have this hanging up on your wall of a caricature of you looking at a phone. And you're going to be looking at your phone.
Yeah.
The caricature.
That's what you should do.
It's like a hole in a hole. Yeah, I've done that a few times. It's kind of boring.
Not for me, dude.
I was gonna show you my porn comic.
I don't care.
That's
They always bitch about the fact that I don't live there. But when I come there, they're just doing this the whole time. It's like,
yeah, I had a date like that one time. It was
how
just
did
like
that
she's just on her phone the whole time. Like I couldn't even get her to look up. Like, oh well, I was bored because we weren't.
Look at you, dude. You're like fiending right now.
I know, right? It is. Maybe this is the pandemic we should talk about in America. The addiction. I think for me, I was just so. I have to have something to talk about.
It's your crutch. It's a crutch.
I think it's because I was prepared. I was trying to prepare for this podcast. I was trying to get it just right.
Yeah, but dude, we flow, bro. We can
flow.
do this.
Yeah, rhythm and flow.
We don't have to have a format. You know this?
Yeah. I guess
it's we live in this world where everyone thinks there needs to be structure and format,
presentation,
and everything needs to be perfect. Yeah. It's never going to be fucking perfect. You just got to live in the moment, be present, right?
Yeah.
So your dating life.
My dating life. That's a conversation. I was cleaning up my apartment last night. I was supposed to go out on this date. And it was just like, yeah, I remember you. I remember you from, 4 years ago, but you were 18 and it was kind of weird. So you want to go out now? That was a real conversation I had last night. Like, yeah, it was kind of weird. I was talking to you when you were 18. It just felt kind of out of place because I realized right away when I was talking to the phone, like, you're clearly, I can't take you to a bar. I'm going to have to draw a line right there. If I can't take you to a bar, I can't take you out places. That's kind of, true enough. I've met, there's certain caricature encounters. I'm like, holy shit. I've had there's conversations you just they're instilled in you. Like, I remember I saw this guy. He was like in his 40s, and I was just like, I had to wait for this twink to be old enough to date. I'm just sitting there and drawing. I'm like, God, how did this guy get arrested? Another caricature I remember doing. This is interesting. Is this guy was the Department of Corrections, and he had such an inhumane view of the people that were in prison. I'm like, God. I'm trying to be all chummy with them, but at the same time, it hits you, and you're just trying to get real answers. Like people who were like working ICE. I'm like, come on, tell me the lowdown. Tell me what's really going on. What's really going on behind the scenes?
Well, I think you hit a key point earlier when you said that animals should be animals and humans should be humans. Like we forget all the time that we are just fucking animals. We have a society, we have a social structure around us, but it doesn't mean that we're not fucking animals.
I don't think we're supposed to be fucking animals.
Well, you can do what you want to in my book. Fuck whatever you want to, dude. I know they fuck donkeys in other countries. My point is we're just animals, the same way as everyone else or every other being on this planet.
Yeah. I think what you said earlier is these technology in the phone is wired us.
Oh, it's killing you, dude. You're like fiending for it, man. His leg is like fucking bouncing. Hey, every time he says technology, he starts like fucking.
I think I was just over preparing for the interview. I was like, I gotta have something to talk about. I have to have all these PowerPoints. I have to have everything else. There's a couple other projects I have that fall under that category of like PowerPoint kind of a presentation. And I was like, what do I talk about with caricature? I can talk about history of caricature. I can talk about my personal experience and how I distinguish myself.
It's clear that you like caricature, okay? But there's got to be, there's more in your head than that.
In my head.
And we're going to dive into that.
I'm working on a werewolf anthology. I'm working on illustrating a a comic book I did way back when I was a teenager. What was interesting when I was a teenager, I remember how the Tick and Freakazoid, these were the outliers. You know what I mean? These were like,
I don't know what Freakazoid is. I know what the Tick is.
The Tick,
the blue guy, right?
Yeah, it's a blue guy.
Yeah.
He was so hilarious. There's a certain
in the moth, right?
In the moth, you know, he has a sidekick called Arthur, and it's just kind of taking that. That was initially where I liked fiction before I got into like X-Men or Superman or anything else. It took me a long time to appreciate Superman because Superman was just so overpowered to me.
Yeah,
that wasn't interesting. Any character can be good if you have the right writer, I guess. If you tell the right
One Punch
story.
Man. How do you feel about that?
What I understand about One Punch Man is kind of I don't know what is the right word for appreciation of a genre. Because from what I understand, One Punch Man is an appreciation of the anime genre and doing like a satire of it. I think maybe that's the right word. Satire.
I think
it's like an appreciation.
One Punch Man is amazing.
When you're doing like, you know, slapstick or anything else, you're just making fun of a genre. But I felt like One Punch Man, anime is interesting. I love the style of anime. I think the story just kind of goes over my head. It's hard for me to engage. There are certain outliers, there are certain titles, certain things I can watch that I'm like really engaged with. Ghost in a Shell, Cowboy Bebop. Certain things I'm just kind of lost with, like the Studio Ghibli and everything else. I appreciate the artistic value of it.
Have you seen Solo Leveling?
No.
Okay, it recently got me into anime. I never really was into it, like the Dragon Ball Z and shit like that.
Yeah.
Never got into that at all. But after watching Solo Leveling, it changed my entire tune. And
what genre is it? Or
it's anime, but I mean, there's a specific name for the type of story that it is, where like this one character goes off solo and he like powers up. He's nothing in the beginning and the whole world sees him as nothing. And then he goes off and he powers up and then he like finds this love interest that like loves him, but he's not interested in her because he's focusing on leveling up. Yeah. But then she always tags along with him. There's there's a name for that. I don't know what it is. My guess is coming on next. He would know what it is because he loves anime too. But that's got me into watching this anime, and you can see the entire like story structure, kind of like we have the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Here in America, like they have an actual like structure that they do, and when you start watching a bunch of animes, you can see the structure too. Like they always have the main guy who has black hair, and then the girl that's usually after him is a red-haired girl.
Yeah.
And then he usually has like a younger blue-haired girl that tags along with him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a whole like structure, but those are, in my opinion, those are good.
I'll be honest with you. Whenever I write, I kind of throw a story structure out the window.
Okay, I can see that.
I feel like I've been talking
to you for 30 minutes. I can see that.
I've had people kind of describe anything I write as sort of anticlimactic because there's a lot of, I guess, you know, there's the hi-hats and whatever else that go through this story. I'm not thinking about like, let's have something that's very contrived and goes right to this climax and falls straight off. I'm like, okay, let's walk through and pretend whatever character I'm talking about is a real person going through a real journey. Let's just walk through it with them and see where it goes.
Yeah.
I don't like something that feels contrived. I like to let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens on this werewolf story. Let's walk through. These are the circumstances. This is what's happening. Here's the world. Go.
And I think there's a place for that. Yeah. There's definitely a place for that creative expression like you're talking about, but there's a reason that the hero's journey is commercially successful.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah. But you have to, the artist has to be able to freely explore.
Yeah.
Because they are what push humanity forward. Like what was there before the hero's journey? You know, like who knows? Yeah. But there was an artist one time that wrote the hero's journey and he was like, holy shit, this works.
I want to say that was Campbell.
Well, whoever did it, my point is they was like, this fucking works. And now we've used that,
the crutch.
You know, yeah. But I mean, like the artist has to be free to explore because what happens if you come up with the next hero's journey?
Yeah.
So you have to keep pushing the boundaries the way you're doing. I think it's great.
Is haiku. You learn all the rules and then forget them. I think that's.
There you go.
I'm trying to remember where I heard that saying at.
I don't know. It's beautiful though. Where have you heard it?
Learn all the rules and then forget them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I go through. I feel like I'll read the story. I'll read about how to write better story beats and stuff here and there. It's just enough that I'm like, okay, I understand the character's going through, what this character's going through, what part of their journey, or is this character going through? Where is this person? Where are they meeting on that journey? And how? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so I'm not trying to satisfy anything.
You have to think of it this way. If you're writing something to be commercially successful, you know the formula. The formula is out there.
Yeah.
But if you're just writing something for the pure sensation of creating art, then fucking do it. Do whatever's in your brain. You have a brain that's unlike anyone else's brain on this planet.
Yeah.
Like everyone is so unique in that way.
Yeah.
And we're not fully expressing ourselves the way we should.
Yeah. With writing, I've been starting to do the comic book thing and trying to lay out storyboard and stuff. It's been another layer for me, actually, because when I write the character, I'm internalizing, and it's just like these little flashes that you see, like, okay, it's like a still frame of everything. I feel everything that's happening. Then when I start drawing it, okay, now I'm thinking about it in a different way. So now I'm actually drawing this person in this scene, looking at this character. I'm like imagining, oh, this is how they would be feeling in this situation. Okay, well, these are the lines, and it'll be a slight tweak. And I think it's also when you draw on a page, I don't want to overwhelm people with words, because there are certain times when you read a comic book and there's just too many words.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to read all that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just cut down on the words and really take in that moment, like focus on the intensity of their face, the extreme action pose. It doesn't even have to be action. It could just be her flying through the air on a skateboard or something. Like, I'm ready for the day. Do a close up of her tying her shoes, flying out the door on a skateboard.
Yeah. Same way within movies when they say show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Because in a movie, whenever you're writing a screenplay, a lot of people want to put the context in the dialogue, and it's like, no, show the guy walking over to pick up a gun. Don't say, I'm going to walk over and pick up a gun. Like, film that, Same way in comic books. I'm sure you can like draw the character walking over to pick up a gun rather than actually saying it.
Well, there's also the when you write a book, it's very, what's the right word? It's much more introspective. You're so far into that person's mind. You're in the mind of what you're feeling, what's going on, and everything around you. And when that translates to script, it's another thing. And then when you have the person right in front of you, it's another thing.
Yeah, when the actor
it
takes it to
three different levels.
Absolutely, yeah. Anytime you're making a screenplay, like you're getting the writer's perspective, and then you're going to have the actor's perspective, then you're going to have the director's perspective of the entire thing, and then you're going to have the editor, and the editor can really fuck something up.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a better editor than I am at filming anything. It is interesting. It is a certain type of music when you're editing something. Like, okay, and cut there, and cut there. Okay, we're feeling it. Cut there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all these different art forms that somehow is a collaboration of everything I am.
Yeah, and just whenever I think that I'm getting good at something, like editing, I'll come across someone else, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, this guy right here blows me out of the water. Like I recently had one of my friends, Jeff Van Gerwen. Like, shouts out to fucking Jeff. Yeah. Like, I edited something, and I was like, this isn't any good. Jeff was like, let me take a stab at it.
Yeah.
And it just blew me out of the fucking water. The guy is on another level.
Yeah, that's so fascinating that there's certain art forms that you're just never going to comprehend. Like that guitar or any kind of instrument. That was it for me. I can't do music. People make it sound very simple.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was asking somebody help for a recording for another work that I was doing, and I was going to have a projector in the background, some images, and it was a Fallout I had with a tarot card reader. Mm-hmm. So I have the background. I have a little bit of this surreal music going on. I was trying to combine like comedy with that and working as a what is that when you're kind of riffing on words and with music at the same time? I forgot that term is like spoken word and comedy. I was trying to just like riff on that. And so you're not just telling a joke, you're just riffing off the thing. I tried that with one of my bits out there at the Healing Center on Wednesday nights. This guy surprised me. Just started playing the piano behind me, and I'm stepping away from doing stand-up comedy. It's going to spoken word where I'm just feeling out the jazz of the music and stuff like. I'm trying to flow with the rhythm, and I'm doing a whole different thing with comedy. And it was the most amazing experience ever. I'm like, I gotta put this as a performance piece for one of my works.
Oh, it actually
this
worked?
Is amazing.
It paid off. It worked.
It paid off in a way.
Dude, musicians are another level. There's a few people that I know that can literally pick up any instrument and play any instrument. And it's almost like their brain is seeing the patterns and the beats rather than actually like, one of the hosts that we used to have for our open mic music, we do open mic music every Thursday. His name's Colin Provençal. Shouts out Colin. He's incredible, man. Like he would come in here and any musician that was on stage, he would ask him first, he would be like, do you mind if I have a little jam with you?
Yeah.
Like if I just like accentuate your music some, and a lot of them were like, okay, you can do that. We'll try it out. Yeah. And he would bring his little drum set off to the side. And it was like, he was listening to the song, never heard the song before. The guy was they're playing original music and he would just like find where he fits in.
Yeah. It's
incredible.
I think it comes out to a different type of intelligence.
Well, it's like beats. They're like counting beats or something. I don't know. Yeah. It's crazy. Like there's a video that I filmed one time. I was just sitting here listening to music and the artist that was playing on stage paused at this certain time. And I was like, how in the fuck does Colin know that he's going to pause?
Yeah.
But somehow he managed to like fit in a ding right there.
Yeah. If you feel it, it's hard. It's between
they were vibing,
feeling and music. It's one of those things that, me having that big reaction to doing caricatures is I'm feeling the moment. I'm having a conversation and it's a big reveal. There's just different types of intelligences that people have that make this world go around. You have engineering intelligence and mathematical intelligence. You have spatial intelligence. You have all these different things that people just have that you can't explain. You can throw somebody anywhere. They can tell you exactly where north is, where south is, where the closest river is. Just they can just feel.
Do you think we're going to lose that? The more reliant we get on technology, it seems like those are kind of going away.
I feel like there's always going to be those people that like live out in wilderness. Canadians. That's my answer. Yeah. Canadians.
Those would be the ones that survived the war.
That's it. Yeah. Canadians. That's going to be my answer. And Alaskans by default.
That's probably what happens, man. We probably have this like cycle where we get to this like peak technology level. And then we kill each other. We all die. And then the people that were living in the fringe, the ones you're talking about, they kind of like recreate society and they start again from scratch.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. They'll be like, well, we never liked Sabrina Carpenter anyways. We're just going to redact that from history.
Yeah. They rewrite the history. It seems about like what we do here.
It's not just the victors who write history. It's those who are left.
The survivors.
That's who's gonna tell the story.
The morally vacant.
You see those memes like, I'm gonna tell people one day that this is the Backstreet Boys, and it just shows some image that clearly isn't, or like
yeah.
God, what was it? Like like I'm gonna tell my kids this is Nirvana, and it's just a picture of like the Hanson brothers or something. Yeah. It'd be that type of tongue in cheek. And then it'll just become a reality for like the next generation.
I mean, I could see it happen. I read this thing the other day and it was like one of these conspiracy theories that is saying that the reason NASA quit exploring the ocean was because they set up a research center at the bottom of the ocean and they have a group of humans that are living down there and they've been observing them.
That's fascinating.
So all they think that all these humans in this research center think is that that's the world. They don't know anything about the actual world.
That's fascinating.
It's
like a backup plan.
Well, it's like for us, like what if we're in a research facility called the Earth and we don't know anything about what's outside of that?
You know, I think
what's that?
This is a pretty wild. wild idea.
Okay.
I believe that this whole colonization on Mars is going to happen, but it's not going to be the way we think it's going to happen. We're not going to say, hey, we're going to have to terraform this planet to be habitable by humans. We're going to have to find a way to terraform a human to be habitable on Mars. And once we create that subspecies, eventually that thing survives and goes back in time and comes to our modern day Earth. And that's why there's a certain familiarity about the little green men.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
That if you actually take the way the human body is evolving,
Yeah.
and kind of like extrude it out through history, that you get a gray alien.
Yeah.
Like, if
but
we just
I think
keep
it's
going.
going to be that genetic splicing about the Terrigen or whatever other species that could survive.
But do you think it's us genetic splicing you, or do you think that this just the evolution of the human body?
It could be either one. I think there could be a splinter off of.
I just don't think humans are smart enough to genetically manipulate the human body.
I don't know.
I know a lot of really smart people, and they're fucking retarded. When it comes to actually like knowing about the body, they'll straight up tell you, we don't have a clue. We only know 10% about how the immune system works. That's a literal number that they'll say. 10%.
What if they're completely wrong? You ever hear that? There's a saying.
But think about that. Like all the medical science that we know, 10% is all we know about how the immune system works. That's insane, dude. So we're talking about genetic splicing. We're so far away from that.
I don't remember where I heard this, but there's certain people that have like a big ego. It's like you draw a little circle. Like, this is how much they think they know. This is how much they know. This is how much they think exists. And this is how much really exists.
Yeah.
There's certain people that are like that. There's like, this is how much they know. This is how much they think exists. This is how much it really exists.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think some people can just know about something.
I was trying to explain to this guy last night here at the bar, and he could not grasp this.
Yeah.
But I was trying to explain to him that he only sees a 0.1% of what's actually going on around him.
Yeah.
That his body evolved to stay alive long enough to procreate.
I hear you.
That's what the human body is designed for. So it's not designed to see the entire electromagnetic spectrum. It's only designed to see what would kill it.
Let's do a little shout out to all illegitimate kids out there.
Yeah, shouts out to them, man. Yeah, all the fatherless kids. Yeah,
yeah. The little shout out, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's and he just couldn't get it. He's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean that I can't see what's going on around me?"
Yeah.
It's like, dude, there's all kinds of waves and energy all around you, and your body is not tuned to pick it up.
Did you ever? There's a machine that can read the color of your aura. Have you ever seen one of these?
I have. I've never seen it personally, but I've seen the pictures and stuff you're talking about.
It's crazy. Up in Birmingham, I lived there for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I'm like, why did I spend so many? But this guy, he was in this metaphysical thing. He had a metaphysical shop, and he gave me like an aura reading. It wasn't anything that he expected at all. He was expecting a completely different. I had a green, which means, but my mind's very busy, very creatively processing a lot of things all the time. And then I'm always coming up with ideas where I might come off as kind of angsty to certain people.
Is that what a green aura gives you?
No, the green aura is like the creative whatever. He was expecting like a red aura of just like this angst or whatever else.
Yeah.
Because I have like a side, I guess. I don't know. Maybe an angsty side of me that I saw. I don't have that.
What does angst mean?
Like
nervous?
Not angst, like like brooding, like the Trent Reznor 9 Inch Nails song, like that. That's just like my mind frame where I exist. That's how certain people had a perception of me at that point in my life. Anyways, I've done a lot of stand up comedy between here and there, so it's interesting. Me stumbling on stand up comedy, that's a story. This is something. I originally did a lot of crime noir. I was writing a lot of stuff, doing a lot of very serious art. I had an acquaintance in high school. He did this Christian comic strip that I thought was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already written a couple works. I've already tried to write a biopic about my life, whatever. And I'm like, I want to collaborate with you. I understand story structure. You're only putting out something every couple months. Let's collaborate. he abandons a project. And so he's like, go ahead and do your own version of it. So I spent an entire year studying stand-up comedy and and also the Christian Bible, because it was a Christian comic strip.
Mm-hmm.
And that was me going up to Anchorage, Alaska to see this guy again. And he's just all like, yeah, so you working on a new comic strip? I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit more crass. And he's like, I'm like Jay and Silent Bob? And I'm like, I don't have the heart to tell him that I've been talking to somebody that works at a porn shop. So I'm like, yeah, like Jay and Silent Bob. And he ended up looking at my tablet later on because I was trying to show him something else, and he clicked off and he looked at this other thing. He's like, I don't think you should do this anymore.
So he didn't want you to do the Christian thing because you were talking to a guy that worked at a porn shop?
I was talking to a lady that worked at a porn shop, and I was drawing a lot of very
scantily clad women.
It was there were just certain cartoons that were pretty graphic. It wasn't necessarily
that got you into comedy.
The Christian comic strip is what got me into comedy, because I had to draw a new comic strip every day for a whole year.
Okay.
So I had to listen to a bunch of stand-up comedians, and I'm like, okay, I got to come up with a bit.
Well, there's a formula in that too, though, right?
Yeah, you have your setup, this, and then you have your delivery.
I find
three parts.
It's almost like there's a formula to everything, right?
Yeah, there's almost a formula to everything. So I'm trying to come up with a bit every week, and unlike a lot of people that do stand-up comedy that name a very specific comedian, like, oh, this is who got me into. I can't name anybody because I just listen to a podcast or listen to Pandora as long as it took to find a joke. I'm like, okay, I'm going to re-render this. I'm going to rework that. I'm going to make it my own original joke. Boom, right there.
Yeah, Bill Burr is a great one for that, man. He just riffs. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
Bill Burr is one of the most amazing comedians ever, because he'll have you ever heard his podcast?
I've heard snippets.
Yeah, he just like he's literally him on a microphone just talking shit for like fucking 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know how he even does that.
I'll be honest with you. There's a snippet from Bill Burr's podcast about something that he was talking about that shows up in my werewolf anthology.
Nice.
So it's going to show up.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people are going to spot it, and I'm not going to quote it because I just kind of want to wait. I want to wait for that moment. You know, if it ever becomes this like big movie and stuff, I'm like, yeah, so I got this part of that dialogue from a little bit that Bill Burr was doing.
My man.
It'd be so fucking random.
I appreciate you coming in today. Is there anything else you'd like to leave the people with before we venture off?
Wow, this is my first podcast. I hope this was a good use of your time. I hope that you got something from this, and you can follow me on Getting Sketchy on Bourbon.
Love it. And he's also going to be coming in maybe on some Sundays. What day was that?
I was going to try to do tonight if that's possible.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a problem.
I just I got a guy that's going to film it so that I can put out digital caricatures, because I'm having a hard time describing what I'm talking about with people. So
well, yeah. So I mean, this won't be out tonight, but maybe he'll come in like a different day and do some characters on a Sunday. But you can definitely come through tonight and do it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much, my man.
All right.